Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel today. Today's video is on how to make this beautiful gown on your screen right now. I know it took a long time for me to edit this video and post it, and I'm so sorry for that. So ensure to watch to the end and let's get straight into this tutorial.
Say what you wanna say to me now. I wanna wake up with you.
So this is the fabric we'll be using, and this is me matching it up with the linen beneath it, and these are the patterns that we already drafted in our previous video. I'll link it somewhere on the screen or on the description box below so you can go check it out. So I went ahead to cut out the patterns and the fabric we need, giving the 1/2 inch 1 inch allowance on the necessary places. So if you have been following my videos on this channel, you should know how many inches I put for each of those places. So I will keep this aside and go ahead to cut the down part. So for the down part of this dress, I have already cut it using a freehand pattern to cut the skirt part of it. So this is it right here. I'll keep it aside and start with the up. So this is the up side. I also cut out the hairstay and ironed it on it. So this is the bust part we'll be working on first. So I'll unpin it right here, and I also cut out a foam pad for the corset bust area. So these are the linen and also the fabric as well. I'll go ahead to trim off the excess hairstay we have around the fabric, and I'll place it this way before going ahead to the sewing machine to stitch it all around there, and the same thing for this side. So when I'm done, I'll show you what it looks like. So this is it here when I was done stitching it for both the center bust area and the side bust area. So guys, this is it here. We'll go ahead to stitch it this way, joining it just this way. I am placing it front facing front, and then I'll go ahead to stitch it like that. And this is it when I was done stitching it on the center of the bust. So this is it, and I went ahead to press it down, and this is the bra cup we're going to be using also, because my client is not so busty, so I'm using a double padding for it. I'll go ahead to stitch that place for the bust cup area, and when I was done, I'll show you. This is it here when I was done stitching it. I put it that on the bra cup area, and this is it how it looks like. So I'll bring in the net that I'll be working with for this bust area, and this is the orange net that I bought. It's quite stretchy, so I feel that it's going to do the work I want around the bust area. So this is me placing it front facing front, like making it to double before going ahead to place it on the bust area just the way I am doing it. So I'll just go ahead to pleat it this way, just the way I'm ruffling it. That's just what you're going to do on your sewing machine. So I'll go ahead to do this on my sewing machine, and this is it here when I was done doing it on my sewing machine. You can decide to make yours fuller, but I didn't just want mine to be so full. So you're the designer, you should make a good choice. So guys, so this is the lining that I'm going to use for it. I'll keep it aside and bring in the front. So this is the front part of this dress. I'll unpin it this way, then I'll bring in the bone stick or bone channel that I've already created, which is this one. I also have a video on my channel on how to encase your own Rigilene bone. So this is it here. I'll link a video in the description box below, or somewhere on the right side of the screen right now. So this is where I'm going to place the bone channels, just this way, and I went ahead to stitch it. See how beautiful it looks inside. So I'll go ahead to bring in the other part, which is the up part of it. So I'm meant to join the cup this way, the bust area this way. This is just how it's meant to look like when I'm done joining them. But there are steps to this, so let us take it step by step. So I will keep this aside, then bring in this two and unpin the yoke area, that's the front yoke, and then join it to the bust area just the way I am placing it here. Then the same thing for the other bust area. I'll bring it and then join it to this side. Make sure you note where will be on the bust area and where is the neckline. So this is it here when I was done stitching them together just this way. See how beautiful it looks. Then after joining them this way, I'll go ahead to bring in the lining piece. So this is the lining piece. Now I'm going to join it this way just to cover up that rough edge at the upper part. So I'll stitch it that place and then stitch it at the other place as well. So this is it when I was done stitching just the upper part of it, and this is it here looking all nice. So we are going to top stitch it at this place, and after top stitching it, we'll go ahead to join the down part just this way that I'm placing it, and we'll join the bust area to read this way. And I'll do this and then show you what it looks like. Make sure the dart is matching it up at that side. So this is what it looks like when I was done stitching it and joining it. So now we're going to top stitch at that place just to make it stay firm. So we're going to top stitch there to cover up that rough edges there. So you can decide to weave yours before top stitching. So this is the back side of this dress, and I'm just going to bring out the pattern, and then this is the lining and then the lace as well. So I'm just going to match it up just the way I am doing in this video. So we're basically going to repeat the same thing we did for the front part or the back part as well. So I'll bring in the yoke part and the lining part. This is the lining part, and then I'll just sew the bone inside of it, then bring in the yoke and do the same thing for the front. And this is the front part when I was done doing everything, stitching the bust area down, and this is the back part when I was done repeating the same process we used for the front. And also I've put the bone in and the bone on the lining piece as well. So after this, now we'll go ahead to turn the main piece with the lining piece just the way I am placing it. So I'll place it this way and bring in the yoke, and then place the lining piece on top and sew along that area. So I'll do the same thing for the other side as well. I'll put the lining piece front facing front and sew along that side, and this is the finished work when I was done stitching it. So this is how neat it looks, so nice. So after this, I'll bring in the front, which is this one, and then I'm going to join it side by side. I will just join the main piece for the back to the front piece before going ahead to use the lining piece to turn it over. So I'll do it for the both sides just the way I am showing you right now. So I'll go ahead to do this for the both sides, and then you'll see what it looks like. After, I'll just go ahead to turn the lining piece just the way I am doing it right here. And this is the outcome when I was done turning the main piece side by side. This is the inside part of it. I'll go ahead to press down that place open before going ahead to turn the lining piece. So for the lining piece, I'm just going to place it like this, just the way I am turning it, and then go ahead to sew it to the side, the main piece side that we already turned. So I'm just going to use the same line that we used to join the sides, and then use it to also add or join the main piece together with the lining. And this is it here when I was done stitching everything. See how beautiful it looks both in and out. So one thing you need to note is also to make a very neat finishing. So this is how beautiful it looks both in and out. So after this, now we're going to work on the neck area. So I'm just going to place the neck this way. You can overlap it with 1 inch and stitch it there, and then join the shoulder just the way I am placing it, front facing front. You can just use 1/2 inch and do all of this that I'm showing you right here. So we'll also go ahead to finish up the rough edges at the down part of this dress, and this is it here when I was done sewing everything that I already talked about earlier. This is the inside looking all neat. So I'll bring in the skirt part, which I've already sewn. This is it here looking neat as well. So I've not put a zip yet, so I'll first of all join it to the upper part before putting the zip. I think I prefer doing mine this way. So this is the up. I went ahead to also join the turtleneck and the zip for the upper part as well. So this is it here looking all nice. I prefer to use zip. I just wanted to use it for this particular one. You can use your other bag design that you want of your choice. So this is it here. We're just going to bring in the pattern paper that we worked with, and I'm just going to measure out where the waistline is, and from the down to the waistline is like 7 inches. So it all depends on how deep you want the V shape for the front design to be. So I'm just going to remove 1.5 inch. That means I'll come up by 1.5 inch for mine. That's removing 1.5 inch from the 7 inches we already got. And this is it here that I'm marking out, and I'll mark it there. You can decide to come up as you want. So I just wanted the tummy area to be a bit revealing since the front has a transparent look. So for this skirt part, I'm just going to match up the side by side joining. So I'll match up the side joining and then pin it. So I'll come by the center front and then I'll come in by 5 inch. Remember we marked out 1.5 inch from the 7 inch, which is meant to remain 5.5 inch, but I'll mark out 5 inch here. Half inch is to join into the upper part. So I'll use my pattern to mark it out this way, and after marking it out like this, I'll go ahead to cut it out. But before I cut it out, I always make sure that the front is equal and aligned. So I'll mark for the front part, I'll bring in the pattern again, and then I'll mark what we have there, which is 5 inch. Then I'll mark 5 inch there. I'll mark also for the center front what we have, which is already 7 inch. So I've already marked it there, and we came up by 1.5 inch, remember. So I'll mark the line just this way, just to make the curve that I already made for the skirt part, just to make it easier for me. And after this, I will go ahead to mark it the same way for the V part, and then I'll cut out the down part for the skirts just the way I am doing right now. Make sure everything is equal and aligns properly before you cut out. So while I was done cutting it out, I will unpin that side and then bring in the front pattern or the front part, and I'm just going to merge it up. That's the center front to the center front of the up part. So I'm just going to make sure it's equal and notch the center, and then place the center for the down skirt part to match up with the front part, and I'm going to stitch it this way to this other end, and I'll do the same thing for the back. So you can go ahead to weave it before stitching it on it. So I'll bring in the back pattern and measure the center back, which is giving 7 inch. I'll mark 7 inch there. So this is where the back is, so I'll just match it up to that place. So mind you, you can put your eyelets before doing all of this. So this is the part, or this is it here when I was done sewing it, and I'll go ahead now to put the zip, put my eyelets, and do all the necessary things we need to do on this dress. So this is how neat and beautiful it looks already. So I thought to show you guys the zip and the eyelet you will be working with. This is it here, I'll put it there, and the zip as well. So due to time, I had to do the beading of the bust area off camera to save time, and for the video not to consume a lot of space on YouTube. This is the net I'll be using for the waist area for the front, and I'm just going to ruffle it this way and then stretch it like this to this place, and then turn it over to this other place. So I'll do this and show you. So this is the final look when I was done making it. I went ahead to put the stones on it and then do all the necessary stitching I need to do on it. So if this tutorial was helpful, ensure to subscribe, like, comment, and then see you in my next video. Bye.